Manus flat on the canvas. We are ready to rock and roll. Second round of action. There is a cut on Manus.
Jesus.
Martial arts chat.
My man B-Hop got dropped out the ring last night.
I need a little judo baby. I need me a little judo baby, and let's do it, Rhonda. Let's hit me up.
I see you were telling me this. You got a face for radio.
That's got a face for radio.
That's nice.
Martial arts chat.
Hello, I'm John Boy McElroy. Welcome to the Martial Arts Chat podcast. Bellator Newcastle just round the corner. We've already heard from the fighters on this show last week, so we get to hear the thoughts of the roundtable, and of course for the fans. Thanks for everyone who's hit me up. Continue to hit me up, please. I'm on facebook.com/Martial Arts Chat, or if you want to reach out on Twitter, it's at Martial Arts Chat there as well. Before I introduce tonight's panel, just a quick shout out to the sponsors. A1 Fight Gear. A1 Fight Gear use the latest cutting edge boxing gloves for professional and amateur fighters, gym enthusiasts and kickboxers. So local and national gyms in the UK, do yourselves a favour, go check out a1fightgear.com. And if you want to get into shape or get back into shape, go to beastgear.co.uk, use the coupon code MartialArtsChat. If you do that, you'll save 15% off your purchases for core sliders, straps, barbell pads, all sorts of strength and conditioning programs to suit your needs. I could probably be doing it with myself after I was a sober Christmas, but I've been a naughty boy ever since, so I could be doing me losing the keg. But yeah, check out beastgear.co.uk, they can sort you out. Finally, also sponsored by the MMA Takeover.com. For the real MMA rankings, visit MMA Takeover on Facebook or on Twitter. So joining me this evening from Severe MMA, returning Fox's biggest fan, Mr. Shawn Betts. Shawn, how you doing, sir?
Great, mate. How are you?
Pleasure, man. Pleasure to have you back on, and look forward to getting into this Bellator chat with you for sure, mate. Also returning MMA UK's greatest son from Wales, Mr. Lewis Smith. Lewis, how you doing, sir?
Very well, John. Thanks for having me on, buddy.
It's a pleasure, guys, and we've got some tasty fights to get into. Let's start with judo himself. Jimmy Wahid takes on the happiest man in MMA, man. Every time I've interviewed Lou Long, like, he's just so just cheery and always got a smile on his face. But he was telling me, I don't know if you guys know about this, I'm sure you probably do, there was not a spat, but there was an exchange of words, shall we say, back in the day. Judo was mentioned, and it was kind of sticking more in Lou's mind than Jimmy's. But either way, I mean, you don't really need trash talking for this. It's going to be a great fight, so I can't wait to see it. We'll start with Shawn on this one. Shawn, how do you see it going down when Wahid and Long go at it?
Amazing fight. Let me start there. When I heard Jimmy had signed and Lewis had signed to Bellator, the first conversation I had with Jimmy, I was like, "What about Lewis?" I've just got Steve ringing me on the other line. Sorry, let me switch the phone off.
Go and stick him on. We'll find out his thoughts.
I can invite him another time, I suppose. But where was I? Yeah, great fight. And when I spoke to Jimmy the first time, I spoke about Lewis Long, and he was like, "I would love to fight Lewis Long." Do you know what I mean?
Aye.
So, and Lewis called him out on Twitter. I think I told him about that, and then the match has been made, and you threw the cat amongst the pigeons straight away, pretty much. England versus Wales between me and Lewis. So, yeah, I mean, Jimmy Wahid's my boy. Lewis Long, again, like you said, happiest man in MMA. I can remember interviewing Lewis a long, long time ago now, just after Ian Entwistle had pulled out on him on the day. I think it was Obama. And we interviewed him after he'd had a few shandies. Right. And it was probably one of the most memorable interviews we've ever done, to be fair.
He's some man, isn't he? He's just like...
Yeah, he's a boy.
You could tell him the worst news ever in the world. He's just like, just got to go on with it, really, aren't you? This is so whatever about anything, man. I love him. Lewis, tell us your thoughts, man. How do you see this one going down?
Yeah, I agree with Shawn. I think it's a really, really good fight. Lou has been calling out Jim for a long time now, hasn't he? A couple of years. I interviewed Lou just as soon as he signed for Bellator, and it was the first name on his lips was Wahid. So, yeah, he's been calling him out for a while, and he's got his wish now. So, I think it's a great matchup. Like Shawn said as well, it's Wales versus England, so I've got to go with my boy Lou Long.
Fair play.
But it's a very close fight. Like I said, I wouldn't like to bet my house on either one. I think they've got a lot of similarities between the two of them, and I think it'll be respectful. And I think the fight speaks for itself. It's going to be a good one, and yeah, I can't wait to watch that one. I think it's one of the most exciting fights on the card, actually.
Absolutely, man. And it's way down there as well. I think you're looking at maybe prelims or something like that, but I mean, who cares? We get to see it, innit?
To be honest, given that both of them got, Lou's got a lot of support down in Wales.
Aye.
Obviously, Jimmy's got a lot of support as well, so I'm surprised he didn't end up further up the card. But, I mean, like I said, I think that just goes to show the strength of this card that they're so far down, really.
Absolutely.
I would drive to Newcastle for this fight alone. If this fight was just happening in an arena by itself, or in a leisure centre, or in a car park, I would go to Newcastle just for this.
Oh, aye, for sure.
That's how excited I am about it. How it goes down, I don't know. I think they're very even grappling wise. I think Jimmy's got the better stand up. Everybody I talk to says Jimmy Warled is the worst sparring man. He's hard work in the gym and stuff like that.
Right.
I don't think we've ever seen the best of Jimmy on the top level. Lewis, I think he's not quite got to where he should have got. So I think it's an interesting fight, and there's a lot on the line.
Yeah.
I interviewed Dean Truman after his win at Cage Warriors as well. He took the belt down in Cardiff a couple of months back, and the first thing he said was that he's been training a lot with Jim Warled and how much that's improved him. So everyone, like Shawn said, is saying that he's such a hard round, and I think it's going to be a hell of a fight. Leo, I know the last time I saw Leo, he was competing at Polaris down in Cardiff. He lost a decision there, a close decision. So very close grappling, and I think it all depends on where this fight goes. I think Jim may have a slight advantage in the striking, but I don't know. Like I said, I wouldn't want to bet my house on this fight either way. It's just so closely matched, and it really is exciting.
Right, it's the appetite in it, man, for sure. Let's get the main card, because we've got Fabian Edwards, obviously young brother Leon. He's in a tier here in Bellator. At Flying Knee, man, I'm sure we've all seen that. That was something special. Just looks so relaxed, confident. Everybody said he's cocky, whatever. Gets Lee Chadwick, who's been round the block twice and back. The power of that boy and the submissions of that boy as well. I've been watching him for a long time. There was a wee back and forth on social media, but I think was it the interview you did, Lewis, in it, for MMA UK? You had the both of them on, and
we had
tell us, man, how was that experience?
It was the first time I've ever been a part of an interview with two fighters who were going to face off with each other.
Right.
So it was a real experience. I mean, Lee Chadwick is as cool as can be, very laid back, very nice guy, and Fabian comes on just, completely sort of giving him a bit of trash talk, trying to get under his skin. And I mean, I don't know if it's working or not, but he definitely seems confident leaning into this one, because you look at the two of their records. Lee Chadwick's got 30 odd fights, 36, 37 fights, against Fabian, who's sort of 5-6-0. So there's a big difference in experience, but Fabian is very confident, very athletic, and this is another good fight.
I can't wait to see it, man. It's going to be some contest, because Lee, it's fair to say, and I put this to him, I says, look, it's a year to forget for you last year. You had that horrific knee injury, didn't make weight and things like that. There was just so much, I think, in his personal life as well. He wasn't wanting to open up too much about that, but just a year to forget. And the year prior was so special, man. Got the title, the heel hook vid, that one was back and forth, choked out Tommy Quinn. Yeah. So it was just like, there was so much going on from such a high in 2017 to such a low in 2018, and I'm just looking for that guy to bounce back, man, especially again against this boy, because he's backing up everything that he's saying now. And you're right, man, he's relentless for his trash talk. Like every day on his social media there's something like he's in his head and all this, and I hope this backs it up for sure. It's going to be a good scrap.
Definitely building the fight. It's definitely building the fight, which is a good thing.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, special for UK MMA for sure, man. Shawn, what about your thoughts on this? I guess it'd be middleweight bout, mate.
It's funny in UK MMA. Where else would you see a 5-0 going against Lee? I think it's 24-13-1. But it sort of makes sense, don't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, we've got this up and comer Fabian, who looks like he's got the world at his feet, and Lee, he's been around a long time and was the Cage Warriors champion. So, this will put a stamp on sort of where Fabian stands, sort of definitely in Europe, in the middleweight division. But speaking to Fabian, he's eyeing up the very top echelons of that Bellator middleweight division.
He was on about Gegard Mousasi and all that, right? Aye?
Yeah, he's well. I listened to an interview today on Woe TV, and he was talking about Semtex at middleweight as well. I was like, I'd love to see that. But yeah, both out of great gyms. Lee's ground game's been outstanding recently. He's training under coach Daz Morris at ASW, and Daz Morris is one of the scariest dudes I've ever met. Such a legend. I've had people like Ascom and Diakese up there before, and Fabian's gym, Renegade Jiu-Jitsu, is the cream of the crop in the UK, with Breesy and Leon and Jake Hadley and Yannick Bahar. There's loads of people over there that are just outstanding. So it's a real big fight for UK MMA, I think. And I mean, I'm not going to call it. No, I'm not.
I don't blame you, man. It is going to be some scrapper for sure. Can't wait. Let's see what we've got. Terry Brazier, of course, man. Yeah, he just ripped through Bama, welterweight, lightweight. A guy's hard as nails, his man. It's such a tough fighter. And toughness, I don't want to be blowing smoke up my boy's arse, but in Scotland in toughness, you need to start with Chris Bungard, man. Very similar. Wears his heart on his sleeve, whatever. Bungie making his Bellator debut here, I guess. So is Terry as well. Battle of Britain, maybe England, Scotland kind of thing going on there. We've seen a lot of trash talk back and forth. We'll start with Shawn this time. Shawn, what's your thoughts? Bungard, Brazier?
Terry Brazier to me is like the epitome of like what I'd call a fighter. He's an absolute dog in there. Do you know what I mean? Like, just bites down, throws their mans and stuff like that. I've seen Chris a few times. I don't know enough about him to really sort of judge the fight, but Terry Brazier was absolutely outstanding in Bama. So I think he's going to take some stopping. Chris Bungard, has he got eyes elsewhere on that card? Is he looking for a fight with Aaron Chalmers in the future? Is he taking Terry Brazier lightly?
I know, man. That's the thing. Like, yes, he's been laying it on thick for Chalmers, not just in the build up to this, but like for quite a while. And you could argue, man, that you're taking your eyes off the prize. And Brazier's no boy you want to be taking your eyes off of. That's for sure, man. Christ, just ask anyone in Bama. But it's going to be some scrap. They're very similar fighters, and it may just be a battle of toughness. It may just be that dogfight, man, that you're on about. It's going to be exciting, mate, for sure. Hey, Lewis, what about you? Brazier, Bungard, how do you think it goes down, mate?
Oh, do you know what? It's such a close fight to call. Another really close one. I'm edging towards Terry Brazier just because I saw his last fight up in London against Rhys McKee. Rhys McKee's a great fighter, and Brazier just outworked him. He's a real grinder, a real battler, and I think he's a two-weight world champion as well at Bama, isn't he?
Yeah.
Lightweight and welterweight, so he's a big guy for a lightweight. And although Bungard is good, what I've seen of him, I think he took a couple of belts up in Scotland. I think it's only one belt he didn't win of the local promotions up there, so he's a very, very good fighter, but I would have to edge slightly towards Terry on this one. It's a close matchup, to be honest, though, and another one I'm looking forward to. I think more than anything, it will tell you where Chris Bungard is in his career at the moment to fight with Terry, because Terry's the kind of guy who I think is on the verge of kind of like that next level, going from the locals and the European scene to world level. I think he's on that cusp at the moment.
Aye.
So for him to fight someone like Bungard now, I think that's going to show where Chris is. And I wouldn't like to call it either way, but I think slightly edging towards Terry in this one, just because of the quality he's faced in there before.
Guys, we'll jump to the main event before we get to fan questions. Patricia Pitbull looking to get back in contentious contention. Victory over Ryan Scope. Let's just get straight into it. Let's see the guys' picks. We'll start with Lewis this time. Your thoughts? This welterweight main event. Who you got, mate?
That's a tough one. I'm leaning towards Pitbull. I think he's been a bit more active recently than Ryan Scope. I'm going to go towards Pitbull slightly. Ryan Scope, I think he's been out for a while, hasn't he? I think was the last time he fought 2017, perhaps? Was
his last fight against Lou Long? No, am I mixing myself up?
He fought another one since then. I think he won.
Right.
But he obviously lost. He lost in 2017 to Lou Long, and then got a win. And I think he's had a little bit of a layoff. So just based on that, I'm going to lean towards Pitbull, because I know he's been a bit more active. But a good fight, actually. Really fight I'm looking forward to.
For sure, man. Shawn, what about you? Who are you picking for the main event?
I think it's a tough fight. Like Lou says, Pitbull has been a lot more active, but Ryan Scope, for me, he's definitely someone from the UK that has through inactivity, and I don't know if that's been injuries or maybe lost a bit of love for the game and whatnot, has not fought enough. But when he has fought, has been outstanding, and earlier on in his career was a massive, massive prospect. And I know I've seen on Instagram the other day that he's been down sparring with Jimmy Warled and Dan Hardy. And I think he's had a few tough rounds down here in the East Midlands. So, I'm going to go with Scope for the upset, I think.
Scope for the upset? Wow, that's a good shout, man. We stick a wee punt on that, and I'll back you, brother. That's it, man. There you go. Guys, last bit of business before we get to the fan questions is, of course, Alan Chalmers, quite a polarising person and topic. We've been blessed with a viral video thanks to some of the Geordie Shore chat, and obviously thanks to Chris Bungard bad mouthing everybody in the card, including Chalmers. But I mean, I'll just put it to you guys, because I was asking the fighters the same kind of thing. What's your thoughts? And everybody seems to be of the mindset that, I mean, the guy, okay, he does get maybe people with questionable records, skill sets, whatever, but he does bring outside eyes to the sport, and this is going to be in Newcastle, so I guess the idea is if it's not a sellout, it's definitely going to help sales. I mean, an average podcast download for us, 2,000 maybe on a good day. With this Aaron Chalmers involvement, we're looking at like 25,000. Like, I mean, and we're just a wee podcast. It's got to have that knock-on effect. I imagine that's why the promotion's going with him. Do you know what I mean? So here's what I'm asking: is it, how good or bad is the Bellator with Aaron Chalmers in it?
Me?
Yeah, go first, Shawn.
For me, I think it's a great piece of business for Bellator, and it was a great piece of business for Bama. People were moaning about it at the time and saying this, that, and the other, and he shouldn't be getting paid that much. Now, let's get something straight, especially in the UK. Bama certainly weren't bringing eyes to Aaron Chalmers. Aaron Chalmers was bringing eyes to Bama. Yeah. And I think in the UK, Bellator aren't bringing eyes to Aaron Chalmers. Aaron Chalmers is taking eyes to Bellator in the UK. Do you know what I mean? He's the key piece in their branding in the UK, and I dare say even Europe. The reason is that all these guys that they've signed across the UK at the minute are all getting paid well, really well, from what I hear on some of them. Do you know what I mean? They're all talking about big bags of money, and for me, it's largely to do with Aaron Chalmers. Do you know what I mean? It's that simple. And he's gone out there, he's performed, he's fighting a guy now that he's fairly matched with. I think the kid he's fighting, his most recent win was against Baby Slice, who Aaron was, campaigning for a fight with. So it makes a lot of sense. So if he goes out and beats this kid, then what are people going to say? Yeah,
that's a fair point, man. Because that's another thing that I hear a lot of crying about is when he's going to get matched with someone big. Well, isn't he just getting matched with, it's not someone that he's going to beat, but it's something looking him to take him to the next level, and that's possibly what we're looking at here, is it not?
I think so, yeah. Like I don't. When he was, fighting in his debut, who did people want him fighting? A 9-0 guy, a 4-1 guy?
Exactly.
And he's progressing. Maybe the last fight was not quite the right direction, but this one for sure is. And when you speak to him, I spoke to him a couple of times. That this guy, he's not, unrealistic. He knows he's not going to become a world champion. He's not thinking that.
Right.
He just knows that he's in the business to fight people and make money, and he's doing it. You can't deny that.
See, I've tried to get him on the show a couple of times. I've never spoke to the boy, but it sounds like what you're saying. Is he quite a realist then? He's quite,
He's cool. Well, I was a guy. Well, I shouldn't admit to this because it's not going to do me street cred much good. But cool. Me and the missus watch Geordie Shore. Me
and the missus is a good alibi, right?
Yeah. She makes me watch it. But yeah, I watched it from the start, and then I sort of knew from that he had a bit of a background in Muay Thai before I met him and before we fought.
Right.
Just from seeing little bits in that. And, when he went into that fight, everyone was going, what can he... And I knew he'd be able to fight, 100%. And training at that gym where he's at, that Renegade gym, you just... That's the place where you don't just go in there and get by. You sink or swim stuff, do you know what I mean? Every round's with a killer. Every round. So I knew he'd be handy, and he's a humble guy as well.
Oh, aye, for sure. Lewis, what about yourself? What's your thoughts on the whole Aaron Chalmers situation, mate?
Yeah, I think it's a good situation. I think Bellator/Bama have handled it really well. I mean, the last thing you wanted to see was them bring Chalmers in and have like a CM Punk situation where he just gets absolutely destroyed. Because, I thought the UFC could have probably done better with Punk and built him up in the same way, give him a few guys who had similar records. I know, saying that Mickey Gold did have a similar record, but he was a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and he had a few amateur fights. So it wasn't really a fair matchup, I didn't think. But, with Chalmers, they brought him up. They've built him up step by step. And I think it's brilliant. It's bringing a lot of eyes to Bellator, and look at the fighters on those cards. If you're a fighter signed to Bellator, you want to be on that card with Chalmers because
absolutely,
there's going to be a lot more people watching, and I think that's brilliant for the sport. And in terms of Chalmers as a fighter, you can only respect him for getting in there and putting it all on the line. So I think it's a good bit of business, and like you said before, I don't know if he's ever going to be a world champion, but I'm happy that they're building him up the right way, giving him fair opposition, and we'll see how far he can go now.
For sure, man. Let's get to the final part of the show. It's my favourite, answering fan questions. You don't have to wait your turn, guys. I just throw them out if you want to catch them. We've just a few from Facebook, not so much from Twitter this week. Let's see. We'll start with Matthew Penny, who says, as I have a soft spot for WWE, what does the panel think of Jake Hager's performance, even if it was against a bit of a can? Jack Swagger, isn't it? Jake Hager, is that the guy? Yeah.
Is that his real name? I don't know.
I guess, I don't know. I only know him as Jack Swagger. So, I don't know if anyone saw this fight. Sounds like he performed well, I guess. Ham can he probably got.
Like we said off air earlier, the issue with talking about Bellator fights is you've got to be able to see them, which is a whole podcast in itself, I'm sure.
Yeah, man.
I've seen that he won. You know, I'm a big WWE, WWF mark as well. Always have been. He was, you could tell he was an athlete back in the day, and you'd imagine someone with that sort of amateur wrestling caliber is going to transition to MMA quite easily. However, I've not saw the fight, so I'll throw it across to Lewis.
I'll have to take a pass on it as well.
Hard pass.
See the fight, but I like a little bit of WWE, and it's nice to see guys coming over and doing well. So yeah, hopefully get to watch his next fight, perhaps.
So the guy has a legit, like, no, I don't mean pro wrestling, like an amateur wrestling background then? Is that how it goes?
Yeah, well, that was his character in WWE when he first came through. I think he was like a bit of a sort of amateur wrestling background type. Kurt Angle, not quite a gold medalist, but that sort of way into it. I think he has, yeah. Mind you, it was WWE, so it could have been completely. I'm not, was the Undertaker ever an Undertaker? I'm not sure.
Apparently, he was a debt collector. Can you imagine that guy coming to your door? Fuck me. It didn't even have to be gimmicked up. He'd just be standing going, "Oh God, take whatever you want, mate."
Yeah.
No thanks.
There's not many people gonna not many people gonna want to stand up against him, is there? He's a big guy.
Exactly, mate. Let's move on. We've got Don Wilson. Where does Fedor go from here? He doesn't have anything left to prove. Should he hang it up? Good question, mate.
100%. I think he's, for me now, he's only tarnishing what he's built. He's always going to be known as one of the best ever. But the more we kind of see him lose and get knocked out, I think that only tarnishes what people remember him by. The same for like Chuck Liddell. We don't want to see him like 60, 70 years of age scrapping, getting knocked out. I think he's had a great career, but it's time for him to move on now, and I'd like to see him hang out with gloves.
Will be yourself, Shawn.
I mean, look, he should. Whether he will or not is a different matter. It's always been sort of historically known that Fedor, is backed by a lot of Russian businessmen, shall we say. So whether he's got I don't know. I think he's probably made his money now. I don't know. There is fights out there. I'm thinking like you maybe a Rampage Jackson's or someone like that, maybe a Tito or I don't know. There's something for him, but again, like I don't want to see old men getting knocked out. Every other fight. I really don't. Do you know what I mean? It's just an unfortunate circumstance of the sport that sometimes, more often than not, they go on way too long.
Shawn, do you think it takes away from what you've seen of him in the past? Because I kind of do feel that a little bit. Like I'll always remember him, his old fights and how great he was, but just seeing him getting knocked out now, it does kind of tarnish it a little bit for me. I don't know how you feel about that.
It does, and it doesn't. Like for me, like an Anderson Silva getting popped. Do you know what I mean? That takes away from everything he did for me.
Taints it, yeah.
Was he ever clean?
Mm-hmm.
But then you look at someone like Muhammad Ali, who did lose at the end of his career, but he was losing because he was old. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And past his prime. So, it's just not like I say, I probably can count on one hand in MMA people that have gone out at the right time and on top. Fedor's just another one of them stories where it's just gone on too long now, and hopefully someone will put a stop to it.
What about just having, I know it's been called for a couple of times, like old guys fighting old guys? Like Bellator are quite into their gimmicks. Why not just make like a Legends division? Like these guys obviously still want to fight. You can't really put them in there with the likes of Bader or whoever. Just like you said, man, have a Rampage versus Fedor and make it call the belt whatever the fuck you want to call it, like the Legends division or something. I don't see why. Maybe it's we can't get it past the commission thing or whatever. I'm not sure, but if it can be done, I think that's the move to make.
I don't know, because like you saw that last fight between Chuck and Tito, and I remember in his prime how good Chuck was, and even seeing him, even though Tito was roughly the same age, it's just not the same Chuck, and it's not the same fight you will get. And
No doubt, but did you think it was going to be like the first two fights, though? Do you know what I mean?
I didn't want to see it for that reason.
Aye.
To be honest with you, so I wouldn't want to see it. I think you fight when it's a young man sport, isn't it? You see people fighting, and some people do, like you've had DCs and Michael Bispings who go on for a long time. They stay in their prime for a long time, but for the majority of people, once they get to that age, it's better off to just hang up the gloves, I think.
I suppose, fair play. Let's take another one from Facebook. Teddy Wilson, we were kind of talking about this earlier, Teddy, but he's saying, when will Aaron Chalmers be matched up with a name, like a proper name? Depends how it goes, I suppose. I don't know. Proper name? Anyone want to see it for Chalmers? Like what? I don't know. Like a fucking George St. Pierre? What are we talking here? A proper name?
This is it. I mean, who should he be fighting? Do you know what I mean? He's 4-0. If he wins this fight, he's 5-0. I'm sure he's not going to be making any waves, for the Bellator title at 5-0. Again, I feel like he's being matched fairly. I think he's being matched okay. I always, you look at, pro boxing, how steady they're built. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
I think, this is more than sort of enough of a level for him to be fighting at this moment. If he keeps winning, it's obviously going to get in deeper waters, and then we'll see where he's at.
Yeah, definitely. Let's move on. We've got Richard Liciano, I think it is. Liciano. Aaron Pico is the gram for gram most entertaining fighter. Yeah, it's like we did there, mate. Not a question, but thank you very much. I like that. Let's move on, Kevin Jones. No, go for it, mate.
No, that was just a statement, was it?
That was just a statement, that's it. He's just letting us know. Kev Jones, my man, is asking if Bader beats Fedor in 30 seconds, how many picoseconds would it take John Jones to finish him? Well, he beat him already, didn't he? Did he not?
I'm shit at maths.
Numbers are hard. That's it, man. Kev also followed up with, here's another question for the show. Who has the worst tattoos? Aaron Chalmers, Mike Perry, or Cody Garbrandt? Oh.
So who was the guy back in the day that had that really bad Elvis tattoo?
The Elvis one was Belcher, wasn't it? Alan Belcher.
Alan Belcher, yeah, that's the shittest.
Yeah, that is the worst. That was awful, man.
Darren Elkins got damage written on his chest. That's pretty bad, I think.
Oh, who was that one again?
Darren the Damage Elkins. He's got written on his chest.
Aye.
I think he's got a Paige Van Sant as well, Auntie, I think, on his arm.
I'm pretty sure.
What was the name for those again, John? Because I think Cody Garbrandt's got some pretty good tattoos.
He's covered in so many, though. There's got to be a bad one in there, right? I mean, they can't all be.
Yeah.
Awesome. And Mike Perry. Mike Perry's got some face tattoos, I want to say, right?
Yeah, probably.
I don't think any of them really got bad tattoos, have they?
I think they've just got lots. There's probably is. It would be like, I don't know, I'd need to stand them in a museum and look at them for a while to inspect all those tattoos before I made a judgment call on that. I don't know if we get you an answer there, mate, but...
I'll say Chalmers at the guess.
We're going with Chalmers. Right, okay, let's do it. Chalmers it is.
In fact, Chalmers has got a black arm, hasn't he? He's got one black arm.
Oh, has he just got it all like completely blacked out? Right. I wonder if that was a cover-up or something?
What's the guy's name that trains with Conor McGregor? Peter Carroll told me a story about him interviewing him post-fight. Charlie Ward.
Oh, yeah.
When they both fought on the last Bellator card. There's an interview somewhere with Charlie Ward after the last Bellator card in London, before the UFC up in Liverpool. And Pete's is doing an interview. Well, it's like a press scrum, but Peter Carroll's doing an interview with Charlie Ward.
Right.
And it's fucking hilarious. Go find it. Go watch it. It's brilliant. It's like something off Snatch. But he talks about Aaron Chalmers having a black arm just like him. It's funny.
I'll check that out for sure, man. Chris Allen is asking, Bader versus Cormier next. Some beef to be settled there? Maybe the UFC, I guess, right?
Fedor versus Cormier? Yeah,
Ryan Bader, yeah. Daniel Cormier.
Oh, Bader versus Cormier. Yeah, I mean, will Bader go back there? Is he going to be back there in time for Cormier bowing out? I don't know. Bader's got to be doing better at Bellator than he was in the UFC, surely.
I would have thought so. Is he a heavyweight now? Is that how it works, or is that just because of this tournament? I don't even know.
I think someone tweeted it, and I seen something saying, would you rather be fighting Bader in a main event at Bellator or on, third at UFC Moncton fighting Shogun Rua. Do you know it's fair enough, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Aye. I suppose it depends what your bank balance is. I'll probably take Bellator. Yeah. Well, there you go. Chris also followed up with, how long does Ryan Bader look at his belt until realises he will never be the greatest of all time, as he will never beat John Jones? Don't know.
I don't know. He's lost to John Jones in the past, hasn't he, Bader?
He did, yeah.
So, I don't know. It's a tough question because these guys are not in the same promotion anymore. So until they're all back together, it's kind of difficult to match them up. I don't see Bader leaving Bellator now. I think they're probably looking after him a little bit better than he was looked after at UFC. So I think he's going to ride out his career at Bellator now, and I don't see John Jones ever going to Bellator. So,
I mean, you guys might correct me here because you probably will. But has anyone from Bellator ever gone to the UFC and won a title? I don't think they ever have.
Alvarez, yeah, that's exactly the one. Here you go, man. Yeah, Eddie Alvarez.
Oh, but he's the only one I can think of. I can't think of anyone else.
Nah, there's no one. I was going to say Hector Lombard, but he had never even fought for a title. Nah, there's no one. There's no one. Well, apart from Eddie Alvarez, there's no one else. Man.
So being scientific, just by stats alone, we know the UFC is the bigger and better organisation and a better product, so therefore it has better champions. So therefore, Ryan Bader would never beat John Jones. However, Ryan Bader's doing well for himself, so don't hate.
Don't hate, exactly, man. Well, let's take one more, because I got one just come in from Twitter, at ghost_4466, who says, DC was never double champ. Let's get that straight, folks. He vacated the light heavyweight belt because he knew his daddy was coming home. John Jones, and his excuse is, I won't fight a cheater, but he wants to fight the biggest steroid user in Brock Lesnar. Ooh, interesting.
It's fair enough, that DC, statement, isn't it?
I think DC was a double champ. He only vacated after the heavyweight title. So, obviously it's all down to personal opinion. Really, I count DC as a double champ, though. I know I don't see him beating John Jones if they have a rematch at either of the weights. But
I see him.
I still have a lot of respect for DC. I still think he's one of the better guys the sport has seen. So, I would consider him as a double champ, definitely.
I've got a lot of respect for DC. You know what I mean? He's a great athlete. He's a great guy. However, I will say this: don't ever kid yourself in thinking that he don't wake up in the middle of the night and think about John Jones, because he does. John Jones has got that man's number. He's in his head, and Cormier can't ever consider himself, like a unified light heavyweight champion of the UFC. As far as I'm concerned. They're going to fight again. It's got to happen.
Yeah, I think exactly for that reason, man. I think you're right. I think it's like what is it? Laces Out. What is it? Ace Ventura. Like he'll probably just be obsessed with John Jones. Do you know why I think that is? It's, if you want to hear my 2 cents, DC's a winner, right? Whether John Jones leathered him twice or not, he's still a phenomenal fighter. You can't take that away from him. He's a double champ, whether John Jones is in jail or out of jail or whatever he's got going on. But the fact is, John Jones, like you said, man, got his number twice, and that must eat away him like you wouldn't believe. Yeah, man, he'll wake up in cold sweats with John Jones nightmares, probably thinking he's going to get run over by him at some point. It's ridiculous, but he needs that fight. I know it's 2-0, right? But he needs to at least have a victory over him to I don't know, to be self-satisfied in some degree.
We wouldn't be talking about this now if DC hadn't gone up and won the heavyweight belt, would we?
That's true. He did himself a lot of favours by doing that. Aye.
He's lost twice and that's it, but he's gone up. He's won a heavyweight belt. For me, I do disagree with Shawn on this one, because John Jones wasn't there of his own accord. So DC's come in and he was clearly the second best guy. Now, I do believe if John Jones and DC fought for a third time, I think John Jones would beat him again at either weight class, to be honest. Although I like DC, I think John Jones is just... He's got his number, like Shawn said. But at the same time, DC can't control if John Jones is there or not. So, for him coming in, taking the belt, and clearly being better than anyone else in the division, I would consider him the double champ. And it's just unfortunate, that John Jones has kind of put himself in these awkward positions and given DC that chance to come in and steal a bit of the limelight, really.
I suppose you're right, man. What about this Brock Lesnar situation, though? Is this actually going to happen, or was that just some lazy-ass promo after a big card?
I can't see him get cleared if he's...
Aye. He's just
if he's
full of the juice, isn't he?
Steroids, I can't see him. Yeah, I can't see him getting cleared to fight again. But it's the UFC. I think they do what they want these days. So I don't know. I'd watch it if it happened. I'd definitely watch that fight.
I like that. They do what they want. What are you insinuating there? Are you suggesting that Jeff Nowitzki is no longer the golden snitch and just a scumbag? You may be right.
No, I'm not suggesting that, but I mean it's one of those things that they'll move an event. So I would not be surprised if Brock does fight. So that's what I'll say.
No, you're right. I mean, it's always been a business, but it's like a $1 billion business now, and yeah, they'll move goalposts if they need to, and they don't care what size of those goalposts are to pull off whatever they've got going on and bankroll their company, and it makes sense. And if you're talking business, they'll do the business and bend whatever rules they need to bend right out of shape to get you. What's the latest with John Jones? So he failed another drugs test. So what is that? Him completely fucked now?
No, I think he passed his last one, didn't he?
I saw something the other day. Maybe it was just, I don't know, that fake Ariel Hawani account's got me again. I'm not sure, but
I've been caught with that a few times.
My missus often shouts out a bit of MMA news to me, and she did say, "Oh, John Jones just failed another drugs test," but I've been on Twitter and not seen anything of it since. So it could have been that fake Ariel Hawani account. It's a bastard that.
Fuck, got me again. Oh well.
I've written half an article about something before and then looked back and like,
same. Yeah. If ever you hear breaking news coming from our page, question it, because I often don't question my sources.
Whoever's got that page like the ultimate troll.
I'll update my timeline for sure. Well, anyway, guys, there you have it. Bellator Newcastle, just round the corner. So excited for it, and thank you so much to the panel, and thank you for everyone that got in touch. A lot of questions about last night, and some good ones there as well. But let me extend my thanks to the panel individually, starting with Lewis Smith, MMA UK. Lewis, thank you for coming back on again. Let our people know where to check out all the good stuff that you do online, my friend.
Yeah, guys, so if you can follow me on Twitter, it is Lewis_MMA UK, and my Instagram is just lsmith6, as well as MMA UK homepage. You can find all my work on there.
Awesome stuff. Shawn Betts, Severe MMA. Shawn, again, thanks for coming back on, I should say, sir. And let our people know where to check out all your good work you do and all the good stuff that Severe have got going on, mate.
Thanks for having me again, brother. Really enjoyed it. Getting my podcast back on with you guys. So could be found on Twitter, sbets_MMA. Go follow Severe MMA as well. And also, we've relaunched the Front Row MMA Twitter page now, from 9 years ago when we first started out for his UK content, and that is FRMMA UK. Go follow it.
Awesome stuff, man. I can't wait to check that out. The resurrection, it's back like the Undertaker, man. That's superb. And if you like this podcast, search Martial Arts Chat on iTunes and subscribe. Give us a like on facebook.com/Martial Arts Chat. And if you want to hit me up on Twitter, follow me there. It's at, you guessed it, Martial Arts Chat. I'm John Boy McElroy, and I'll catch you next time on the Roundtable.